Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, we're going back to basics. Fritts Lager is a 5.5% Helles-style lager from Old Nation Brewing Company in Williamston, Michigan. It's been a few weeks since the finish of my whole Lagerpalooza deal. Of course, I'm talking about my German beer advent calendar videos that I did in December. It's like 24 days of lagers, basically. So with that little bit of recovery time, I think I'm ready to tackle another lager review. The good news is this isn't just any old lager, but this is an Old Nation lager, which if you didn't know, Travis Fritz, the owner and brewmaster of Old Nation, is a classically trained brewer, did some work in Germany, went to school in Germany, so I'm expecting this to be pretty good. I mean, especially if Travis is willing to put his name on it, name it after himself, it must be pretty decent. So let's take a look at the label, we'll get it into a glass, but first I'd like to thank my executive producers, Brian Kramer, David Jeffries, Vinny Cat, and Cam Freeman for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe just throw me a couple bucks to buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.drafttherapy.com, where you get early access to these videos and a few other special perks available only to patrons. Let's take a look at the label. There isn't a whole lot to it. I'll just be right up front with that. It's a black label. They're going a little bit out of they've been kind of changing up their label since all the hazy IPA things that they've done. It seems like the newer ones are kind of trying to get away from that. They're going more to this black and a solid color look. On the top, it says Old Nation. It has the ON, the Old Nation ON. And underneath that, it has a green circle. In the green circle in white, it says Finest Quality Unpasteurized Fritts Lager. This is 1 pint, proudly brewed in Williamston, Michigan. Lets you know it's 5.5% alcohol by volume, 18 IBUs. And then on the side, it has the government warning, along with brewed and canned by Old Nation Brewing Company in Williamston, Michigan, and their logo, Old Nation Brewing Company, letting you know that you can find out more about them at oldnationbrewing.com with the independent craft beer logo. It doesn't have a canned on date. It has a best by date. The best by date for this is July 13th, 2022. Thankfully, with lagers, you can generally go a little bit longer than with other kinds of beers, for the freshness and whatnot. So let's go ahead and crack this. We'll put a nose on it. I just picked this one up today because I was kind of looking forward to it. It kind of came and went, it seems like at first, and then it seems like now there's been a little bit of a restock, at least near me. Nose on it has a really nice clean aroma. Has kind of just a general lager aroma to it. So if you've opened a macro style beer, it has that kind of aroma, but this is a little bit cleaner. It doesn't smell so like the can. Sometimes you can get a little bit of oxidized cans. It doesn't have any of that kind of aroma. It smells really clean. Let's go ahead and pour it. It's coming out really clear. Just a very, very slight yellow tinge to it. Looks nice and clean. No haze. If you were expecting this to be a hazy beer when I poured it, you're going to be disappointed. That's not what this is. So we're getting about a finger, maybe about 2 fingers, about 2 fingers of head on here. A really nice kind of off-white head. We hold it up. It's very clear. I mean, I can see lots of nice carbonation streaming up. You can see me through it. That's always a good sign. To you, it looks a little bit more orange, and that's mostly probably just because of my face. But to me, it looks very yellow through the glass. Has a nice, like I said, lots of nice carbonation streaming up from the bottom, just what you want to see in this style. It has a little bit more of a stronger aroma here. A little bit of a honey note. A little bit of a hay note as well. Like hey. Okay, let's go ahead and try it out. Cheers. So we always talk about the mouthfeel first. Again, this is a lager, very crisp, very clean, very sharp, has a nice kind of bite to it. It dries out a little bit on the finish. It's not super dry. It's not like an instant dry kind of, mouthfeel as soon as you swallow it, but it does dry out a little bit. At this point, I do have a nice dry taste to it. The aftertaste has a nice kind of thing going on, but let's talk about the flavor this time, and I'll get into that aftertaste. So up front, it has a nice sweet note to it. Again, along those honey kind of vibes to it. Has this kind of a peppery, crackery kind of feel to it. So it does have a little bit of a peppery kind of note to it. On the aftertaste, as I mentioned on my kind of mouthfeel portion, the aftertaste has a nice hay, greenish kind of flavor to it. It has, the aftertaste is really a distinct kind of hay aftertaste, what you expect to taste in a Helles style lager. It's just a nice, clean overall flavor. At 5.5%, it's not something that's, you know, super strong. So, but yeah, I was saying, it has a really nice sweet up front. So the whole flavor is really nice and sweet. It's got that nice honey flavor to it. Again, it has that hay aftertaste. But it's one of those beers, because it's only 5.5%, it's right in line with any kind of macro style lager that you may have tried. I know that some people, they think, well, you know, like I've had all these Budweisers, I've had Millers, I've had all these other macro style lagers, so why would I even deal with any kind of craft lager? That seems kind of ridiculous. The thing that you get out of a craft lager is you get a lot more flavor. It's a lot, you can tell the care has been taken into it to produce this style beer, because it's really hard to do. It's not something that's necessarily easy to do. So you get a lot more of those focused kind of flavors. It's not something that's made in these gigantic, massive batches. Now, I'm not saying that Old Nation doesn't have the capacity to do something, you know, large scale like that. I'm sure that they do a lot of this beer large scale like that, but it just adds, you can almost kind of taste the care that goes into a beer like this from a smaller craft brewery. I mean, if you're just looking for a beer that you can just have a, you know, have a nice drink out of, not something that you're drinking it for recreation. It's not something that you're drinking because you want to get lit up or whatever. It's 5.5%. You can probably finish the entire 4-pack. And if you have, you know, a pretty decent tolerance, it probably, you know, it'll put you back a little bit, but it's not going to break the bank. It's not going to be something, I would hope that you would, you know, make some poor life decisions based on a 4-pack of any kind of lager. But it's just got those nice kind of clean notes to it. Very crisp. It's got just a really nice sweet flavor to it all. And if it's something where you haven't had a craft lager before, I think Fritts Lager from Old Nation is one that you should try out, just to kind of maybe wet your whistle on something other than a macro style lager. It's nice to kind of see the care sometimes that's placed into these beers, be able to taste the care that's put into these beers from a nice craft style brewery like Old Nation. All right, friends, that has been Fritts Lager from Old Nation Brewing Company. Have you had this beer before? Do you have a favorite lager style? Maybe you have a favorite craft lager that's your go-to when you're looking for a beer just to drink and relax with. Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, if you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell. I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you, and you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. These guys are in Williamston, Michigan. They shouldn't be a stranger to you. And most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. We'll see you next time. Cheers.